too is I learned this in real estate. I mean, I've done 2,300 transactions, and I can tell you that there's so much that can go wrong. And people think that real estate agents get paid too much, and it's same. I'm probably with what you do, but there are so many things that can go wrong. There's so many entities, and there's so many things that most of the people on the other end have no clue because they don't have any experience. Like, you've got to be 10 steps ahead of each person that's part of the transaction because they've not done enough transactions to know what to even anticipate. It's just insane to me. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Someone selling the house on their own would be equivalent to like a seller, and they've tried it, saying to us, well, send me your agreement. And they try to do like a rent or something on their own, and I guarantee they're going to screw it up. And to your point, there's just all these nuances and curveballs that are going to come. It's not maybe.
Hey everyone, are you ready to be fired up? Because I sure am. I have got Chris Prefontaine here. He is a smart real estate coach, and he is here to give you all the secrets of success in real estate. How you doing, Chris? Thanks for being here.
I am doing awesome. Thanks for having me. Can't wait to chat.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself. So, what made you want to coach real estate agents?
Yeah, it's actually mostly investors and a bunch of agents mixed in there, but okay, so 32 years in real estate. I won't go all the way back and we'll put everybody to sleep. But after the crash of 2008, I started pivoting in a big way because I got wrecked financially and mentally and everything else. And the pivots were simple. Don't use banks, don't use your own cash, don't sign personally, all the things that I got in trouble with in the crash. So coming out of that, I started doing that. And then people started just seeking me out. I'm talking about little drip jobs here and there. But then we started the coaching in like 14, I think it was, almost 10 years ago. And we do deals with people in the trenches. So it's a cool model. But it started with just us out of need going, okay, what are we going to do here? We're going to keep doing deals. Prior to the crash, I was pretty conventional. I was a realtor for 18 years. I had coached realtors for a bunch of years. So this investment side of things was totally different for me.
Okay. So you're mainly teaching like investment strategy. So I've got to tell you, I'm completely like a bad student because I was also around in 2008, and I saw every one of my real estate friends like lose everything. You're talking 95% of realtors went under, left the business. And I was lucky enough to work with foreclosures. I had about 13 different asset management companies, but wow. I have every single property that I own outright. I've been so afraid to like have a loan. And you said, don't use your own cash, but I've done just that. And I know it wasn't always the best idea. I would have made so much more money, but I still had that fear, just seeing everybody lose everything. What would you say to someone like that?
I was just going to say debt-free is awesome. So high five. I mean, that's just awesome because you make different decisions, right? When you don't have anything dragging behind you, you make way better decisions. You'll parlay your cash that you use by doing that. I love it.
You do? Okay. I was like, I know I was supposed to be buying more properties, but I didn't do so. So you teach, so give me an example of exactly what you teach people and who you can support. Because I know we have a lot of people there that are thinking about this. They just don't even know where to start.
Yeah, because what's cool about the agents that might be listening is if I did hundreds of homes as an agent back then, I've resigned it, but if I knew the creative real estate stuff, I would have been way better. And I wouldn't just been selling or buying or with buyers, it would have been buying as an investor. So we do three ways. We acquire properties three ways. Owner financing, nothing new since the 1600s, lease purchase, and subject to existing financing. So example, we bought an oceanfront home, Cape Cod's like a resort area here locally, almost $1 million. When we seek those out, in my building I'm standing in today, we seek out free and clear properties like yours. And we structure deals with owners who don't need the money right away, but they want all the money. And we're okay doing that over time because we typically structure principal only payments. And that just gives you a major hedge against inflation, recession, anything.
Principal
That's just
only.
the owner financing example.
Yeah. And there's plenty of people out there that want to do that.
Yeah, because a third of the properties in the United States, roughly, are free and clear. And I'm not saying they're all great candidates, but a lot of them, just timing wise, right? You just got to cycle through them. And then you can work on no stress. Just they want their money over time and they'll do it. This building was structured for 20 years, for example, because realtors kept bringing them offers. And he said, I don't want an offer. I got a tax issue. I got trust and family planning. They want that strategically.
That makes sense. Okay. Because I was thinking, why would somebody want to take just principal only? But there's other reasons, obviously. It's kind of like
always.
You're not used to doing it. You don't think outside the box. So give me some other ways, because you made a good point. You said real estate agents need to learn about this kind of stuff, even in the real estate and just, if they're just real estate agents.
Yeah, because I get all my deals, and all our students across North America get all our deals from for sale by owner, for rent by owner, and expired listings, just like anyone else would. So, here's an example. If I was an agent and I went into a listing appointment and it didn't fit in my box, I would then pivot and buy it. What doesn't fit in the box, as you know? Well, they don't want to do a short sale. They owe too much. They don't want to pay a commission. They'll come out of pocket. They've got stress, like they got to have it happen tomorrow. They're behind a couple months. I'm thinking of all the deals we've done like recently. All those things usually spell, okay, maybe I can't list it right away. They're going to go a different direction. Okay, buy it. And you'll be the authority. You'll be the hero, and you'll get, nobody else is doing it. And I wish I knew when I was an agent. I mean, I shouldn't say nobody. There are people in our community that have learned it, but it's not at the scale I thought it would with agents. They should get to know this stuff so they can pivot. And more morally and ethically say to the seller, you know what, this is the best option for you. Because you can sell it, I can buy it, but this is best. And be able to look them in the eye and say that morally and ethically.
Yeah. And so, okay, so give me, I see these people sometimes and they will do like, guaranteed I will sell your house or I'll buy it, which we know as real estate professionals, that just means, let me get my foot in the door. I'm going to tell you I'm going to buy it at this ridiculous cheap price, and you're going to end up listing with me. Is it something, is that kind of what you're doing? Like you're telling people, well, hey, if you sold it on the market, you get X, but since you're not going to list and blah, 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 you're going to get Y. Okay, so you're super upfront.
Yeah, we don't. So the people calling, like we have virtual assistants calling, but the realtors that are doing this in our community, they'll disclose up front, because I always get asked, are you an agent? And I say, no, I'm not anymore. But when they get asked, they'll say, yes, and I'm calling you as an investor too. Let me explore all options with you. Very upfront. But it's not. I know that marketing. I forget who taught that. I think it was Proctor or someone taught that. But that's so they don't market and do that. They just call and make sure they disclose it.
They're just calling. Okay, great. Oh man, that makes sense. It's funny how much there's just so many different creative financing out there. I've had a couple investor type people, kind of similar come on, and I'm always just fascinated by it. It's so much work. There's a lot of work involved in finding these off-market deals. What would you say, like for how many people are you needing to call or reach out to before you get one yes?
I got some rough metrics. So roughly speaking, we'll call what we call a property lead sheet, which is, it was grabbed by a VA, virtual assistant, who already cold called, let's say, right? Or expireds or whatever. So out of 40 sheets I get, I will get in the door, and then out of 17 or so, then we'll have a deal out of that percentage. Just say 40. So if they call 10 a week, they'll get a deal.
Wow. So I would have thought it was way more. That's great. So that's actually very good odds. It's because you've got a formula that you know who to call and what to expect, because I've never heard anybody say that low. That's amazing.
Well, keep in mind the virtual assistant's probably calling to get to those 40. The virtual assistant's probably calling with all those lead sources. Probably 200 to 400 dials, and then they'll get to those 40 leads.
Wow, gotcha. Well, since it's early on, what's the name of your book? I know that you offer, because I'm sure people are already interested in learning more. Yeah, I know you have a book, and you're actually going to give people this book for free and send it to them at actually no charge. Can you tell them where to go to get that? Because I want to get that out there early on, then we'll say it again at the end.
No, I appreciate it. So it's Real Estate on Your Terms. It was revised. It was a bestseller in 2017 and then revised right during COVID. And we didn't plan it, just we were doing it, and that happened. So we really updated it. And they can just go to wickedsmartbooks.com/Krista. So I know it came from your tribe. We'll get it all for free.
Good. So wickedsmartbooks.com. Krista.
Yep.
Okay, we'll make sure to put that in the show notes and everywhere else and get it on there so everyone has that. Go right now. I know how people are, like, you're going to forget. So you're going to get busy and then you're not going to go do it. So I want everyone right now to push pause, go order the book so you can get a free copy. It's a true free copy. It costs you nothing. And go get that right now. And then after you read it, put in the show notes, tell me what you learned, and to make sure you go give it a 5-star review on for him. It would be great. I know how hard it is to write a book. And so, the stats on writing a book, it's like less than 1% of the population write a book, and then less than like 100 books. Like most people never even sell more than 100 books. It's just insane.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. So kudos to you on being a best-selling author. That's amazing.
Well, same back at you. Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me more. So what else? Like, give us some more of your secret sauce and nuggets that people need to know.
If people don't want to, let's say they're newer and they don't want to own property. So a lot of students will come in the door with us and they're like, yeah, it seems like I don't want to take on the property yet. I don't want the responsibility. So we can do a lease purchase. A lease purchase, the way we pre-do our agreements is $10 deposit, $10. They tie up the property, so they're controlling it. And all they're promising the seller is, let's use some numbers here. Let's say the seller was on the market for 250 grand. They owed 200. So they got 50 grand equity before commission or anything. And if they got full price, and they didn't sell it for whatever reason, functionality, whatever, didn't sell it. So we're going to say, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're going to give you your 50 grand equity that you have technically in your head. And we're going to pay off the underlying mortgage at the end of the lease purchase, which is, let's just say 3 years. So I'm going to contract for 50 grand equity plus the payoff of your loan at the end of 3 years. What's that mean? Well, we go into every deal, exit every deal by a rent-to-own program. So I put you in there as a buyer. You're going to pay an upfront down payment. That's payday 1 for us. We trademarked the payday system. Payday 2 is I'm paying something on that 200 grand mortgage, and that my tenant buyer in the house is paying me more. That's a spread. That's payday 2. And payday 3 is
paid and they're getting paid. So basically, let's just say it's $2,000. They give the seller $1,500 and you take $500 a month, something like that.
Yep. Yeah, that's payday 2. And then payday 3 is really cool because while that's happening, obviously that loan's going down, right? Principal.
Mm-hmm.
That accrues to us. Remember, we told them we'd give them their 50. So the loan's going down at the end. That accrues to us, and of course, any markup we do. So that's our payday 3. So it's a super way for a realtor to go, okay, I couldn't sell it, or they didn't want me to sell it, or whatever. But now I'm creating 3 paydays instead of just 1 commission, right? So that's a good thing for the agents too.
I got to tell you, I have to go back and watch this because my brain I'm not used to it. So my brain is trying to understand it. So I'm kind of slow. It takes me a little bit longer to learn things. So I got to go back and be like, okay, and wrap my head around it, because this is something, again, like, as you said, all these things are ways for, whether you're an investor or a real estate agent, to be able to help people. It's all about being able to help people out of a situation. I think some people think like, oh my God, these people are scammers and they could have gotten more. And I always think like, man, are there really that many people who don't want to put their house on the market? And the answer is yes. There are plenty of people, for whatever reason, that they're either in a situation they can't, or they don't want to, and these options are really good for them.
Yeah, the help, you use the word help. It's so important, because if you go in with that hat on going, I'm just going to listen, figure out your best scenario, and then I'm going to pinpoint it with I list it and sell it, or I buy it. They know that. It comes across sincerely. They know that. And you can get them, you're going to get them top dollar as an agent, and you're going to get them top dollar or cash out as an investor too. It's all good.
With both ways. Exactly. So you learned this the hard way back in 2008 when you lost everything. Is that what happened?
Yeah. I went from 2.5 acres overlooking Newport Harbor. I think it sold recently for like $5 million. I went to a 900 square foot apartment, my wife and I. So it was a little humbling experience, but we rebuilt everything, and in hindsight, best thing that happened. But you couldn't have convinced me then.
Oh yeah, you're right. You probably hit rock bottom. It's so funny. I saw so many agents leave the industry, and it was horrible. I worked for like 13 different asset management companies, and I cannot tell you the amount of real estate agents that I had to knock on the door, and it was just the most uncomfortable, humiliating thing for both of us, quite frankly. It's just so sad. Yeah. A lot of those agents came back in the market, and now a lot of them are leaving again because of the way.
It's a great purge, in my opinion. It's sad, but I used to say to my wife when I was an agent, it's the same in investors. When the market gets wonky, or the media's screaming like they are now, and they're probably not right, but they're screaming, making everybody fear, then it purges the market, right? It just kind of purges.
Yeah, I've been telling everyone, this is your time to take action. Like, this is good for you, because everyone is exiting, right? So now is when you have to act and start watering your garden and planting your seeds and fertilizing them as often as possible, because the market will always turn around. People always need to buy or sell. Like, no matter what, people need to sell, buy. They're getting married, they're getting divorced, they're having babies, they're going to college. That's why I
like the residential, just by what you said. Yep, that's why I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so what else? Because I'm not even sure what to ask, because this isn't my sports. I want to make sure that we're giving our listeners everything that you think they should know.
Yeah, well, okay, so I'm from New England, so I talk fast. So to your point, we're trying to grasp it. We have like 200 plus, I don't know what it's up to now, on YouTube, where we literally whiteboard the deal and show the 3 paydays and show you the good, the challenges. It's not just all fluff, right? We show you the whole deal. And they're real deals that either we did or our students did. So that's a good resource for you. And it's all free, obviously.
And that was channel? Is it Smart?
Yeah, you just type in Smart Real Estate Coach when you're on YouTube. Yep, you'll get it. We do we do Deal Structure Sunday, we call it, where we post deals, and then we do Motivational Mondays and Q&A Thursdays. So there's enough stuff in there that's free where they can go, okay, I can wet my whistle as an agent and get to know this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So good. I bet you that's a huge, your channel must get a ton of viewers, because those kind of like sort of take action, you're watching us do it, seem to do so well. Smart job.
Well, and it's just content, right? It's free content. The other way we buy, to answer your question, is subject to existing financing. So what that looks like is a little different than the free and clear seller. This seller is usually hurting. They need relief like yesterday. And I'll give you an example. We bought a house here in the area, couples getting divorced. They were behind like $4,100, not crazy, but see if they listed with an agent, and if it's so fast maybe, but they would have had to come out of pocket almost no matter what. So we bought the home subject to their loan in place. What that means is that loan stays in their name. They're the guarantor, not us. The deed transfers to our LLC or our trust, however we title it, and we make payments on it, and we exit the same way as I explained before, but that loan is still, to this day, it's in their name. But we fixed a major problem. They were getting divorced, they were in arrears, and it was just going to get worse, and it wasn't amicable. So they were like, we had to be like the psychologist and the go-between, right? One was on the deed, one was on the mortgage. It was a mess. But that's a good example of, I need financial relief now. It didn't sell. It was an expired listing, and we took care of it like within a month.
So then when that happens, explain. So they still are paying the payments? No, you're paying the payments, but their name is still on it. So then when you go to sell it, like any difference, you're going to get to keep, correct? Is that the benefit?
Yeah, so this is the same Payday 3 system that we did with the lease. The difference is, when you go to you have a settlement statement. Let's just say this because everybody knows what a settlement statement looks like. Usually new money comes to the table, XYZ bank, right? In this case, same closing happens, but instead of new money, it says subject to existing loan with ABC Bank. So we own the house. At the very end, all we're doing is paying off their loan that's in their name, but they have nothing to do with the house anymore.
Wow, I gotcha. That's awesome. Okay, so when there used to be, and then the bank stopped it. So people used to buy houses back in the foreclosure days, like a signer. Like they would be like, they'd buy the house and they'd say, hey, they're gonna assign it to somebody different. So they would take ownership of it. And then, do you ever do that?
That's like a wholesaling deal. We don't wholesale because to me, that's like being transactional. I'd rather be like a super efficient agent than do that. And it's nothing against the wholesalers, but it is just spinning plates. And then a lot of states, just because you have people that mess it up all the time in any industry, some states you can't do that anymore. You can't wholesale. Like I know you can't in Chicago, and I know there's some other ones too coming up.
Yeah. Oh, well, back in the foreclosure days, they quit allowing that to happen. They were like, no more assignees. It's like you can't do it. There's a lot of stuff going on that they didn't like. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? What else should I be asking? What else? If I was a student sitting here wanting to learn from you, what would you tell me? First of all, I'm sure that it takes a lot of work. You have to be, but I've always learned, like, don't ask how, ask who. That's one of the best advice I can give to anybody, is that when you're trying to learn something, don't ask how to do it. Go to the person who's done it and have them, the who, teach you the how, right? Because
I was just going to say that. Yeah. Similar when you say, what can I ask? I mean, look, we've both been in real estate for a while. When I was an agent, what did I do? I seeked out someone told me I could sell a dozen homes a year. And I said, that's depressing. So I found someone that does 100. And I said, can you help me? I'll be sort of your apprentice, but then who's your coach? And I kept getting the same name. So I would just say, do the same thing in this area, this niche. And that is seek out, I'm not so naive to think we're the only one. Seek out someone that you can relate to, like the family, the lifestyle, everything. And then that has been where you want to go, but also been through cycles. Real estate cycles, because as you and I just said, if you're new to coaching, how are you going to help someone pivot? You can't. So I think that's super important to pick a niche. Okay, if it's creative real estate, you want to tack on to your agent business, great. Pick a person who's been through at least a couple economic cycles, and then put the blinders on for 3 years and learn it. It doesn't mean it takes 3 years to do a deal. It just means have some commitment so that when the curveballs come, you don't, get shiny object syndrome and go run over here and do a different niche. That makes sense?
Such good advice. It's so funny. What's that saying? For those that can't do, then teach, right? Like, there's so many people that have never done the thing and they're teaching people how to do it. I'm always just amazed by that. Actually, somebody gave me I did a post and they give me a bunch of crap for saying that. I'm like, it's like, why would I ever go to someone to learn something that they haven't done or that they weren't good at? Go to somebody who's done the thing, like you said, in multiple cycles. I mean, God, I've seen everything. It's from there being 350 homes, 400 homes on the market to there being 10 homes on the market, right?
Yeah.
Like everything in between, and been able to outlast and quite frankly, be in the top 1% in any market. So I could not.
What's as bad, I think, I love your opinion, is there's some great marketers. Like, we are not great marketers. I know how to do deals. So, but they'll market product, and then they sadly go out and try to do deals, and then it's incomplete. Like, they don't know how to pivot. And so that's why I said earlier in the show, we just do deals with them, so they'll learn real life, you know?
Smart. Yeah, doing it with them is absolutely is wonderful. So everyone, if you want to learn this, you can hire, you can hire, do a deal with you and show you as you go. There's no better way, in my opinion, to do exactly that. Like, you can read a book, but actually being in real world. And the crazy thing too is I learned this in real estate. I mean, I've done 2,300 transactions, and I can tell you that there's so much that can go wrong. And people think that real estate agents get paid too much, and it's same, I'm probably with what you do, but there are so many things that can go wrong. There's so many entities, and there's so many things that most of the people on the other end have no clue because they don't have any experience. Like, you've got to be 10 steps ahead of each person that's part of the transaction because they've not done enough transactions to know what to even anticipate. It's just insane to me. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Someone selling the house on their own would be equivalent to like a seller, and they've tried it, saying to us, well, send me your agreement. And they try to do like a rent-to-own or something on their own, and I guarantee they're going to screw it up. And to your point, there's just all these nuances and curveballs that are going to come. It's not maybe.
Yeah. Oh, so true. Yeah. I always say there isn't many things that haven't happened to me in real estate. One time I even got a guy that got a home inspector got stuck under the house, and we had to cut him out of the actual, cut him out. This poor seller, I was like, I'm sorry, that's never happened. Like, that's never happened before.
I don't think I've heard that, actually.
Oh my God, they were so upset with me. It was a referral. And I was like, that is something I could never have anticipated, because I always say, expect this, and this. That did not come out of my mouth. And it only happened one time, but it did
That's
happen.
crazy.
Yeah. Okay, well, this has been awesome. I want to just make sure there's nothing else I haven't missed or should have asked you because I don't know. And I want to remind people again to go to thesmartrealestatecoach.com say it again.
It's actually Wicked. They can go there. That's the main site. But wickedsmartbooks.com/Krista will give them the free book.
Okay. wickedsmartbooks.com/Krista, free book. Like I said, push pause right now. Go get it now. And then make sure after you read it, put in the comments and be sure to give him a raving 5-star review, because I know it's already a bestseller. That always helps support him. And I love to support people that we have on the podcast. So, yes, I'm just trying to make sure if I have missing. I always end every single podcast. And if you have anything else to add, please do so now. But I like to end with if you had any advice to give somebody, whether it was business or personal or anything, and you, like me, you've seen different cycles in the market, Chris. So what advice would you give somebody? Again, it doesn't have to be business related, but what advice would you give to our listeners?
Other than that 3-step formula I shot out, I'd say find a way to become the authority, like you've done it with books and your track record. Like, find a way to become authority, even if you're brand new. And that can be tacking this on to be that expert that no other agent can do. It can be being on shows like this. It can be writing a book, but find a way to become the authority so they seek you out.
Ooh, so true. And I'm going to add that. And not only become the authority, but actually market it the appropriate way, right? You've got to know how to market yourself as the authority, because you could write books, but if nobody sees you, it does not make a difference. So that is so true. And the funny thing that I've learned is that perception is reality. So you can be a brand new agent or a brand new investor, and as long as you look as though you've been doing it a long time by your marketing, by what you're putting out there on social media, it doesn't make a difference. We've seen brand new people within 8-12 months take over in different niches just based upon the perception of what they're doing. So Chris, 100%. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This was so good. One more time, shout out for your book. I want to make sure everyone gets it.
wickedsmartbooks.com/Krista.
Okay, go get it now, everyone. Remember, I hope you are just as fired up as I am. And as you know, knowledge is not power, implementation is. So go and get Krista's book. Let us know in the comments how you like it, and we will see you next time. Thanks again. Bye. I'm Krista Mashore. I hope this is helpful. Be sure to subscribe. And every single month, I have a virtual online 3-day event where I go over these strategies and so much more that helps agents and teaches them what's working right now in real estate. So look at the link, click somewhere onto this page, and I'll see you there. Thanks so much for watching my video. You can learn more about how to be a successful real estate professional by watching other videos that I have. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. And as always, make it a great home selling and buying day.